Ghostbusters!
Welcome everyone to episode number 16 of the Dark Horde podcast, and I'm glad to be here. It was a long ass day today. What I tell you, I was doing the whole car shopping thing today for the second time in a month. Yeah, it was fucking torture. It was horrific. It really was. It was hardcore. And I walked into this dealership, and the guy's name was Joe Garza. Joe was 89 years old, and he purchased the dealership, which was really a gas station, 40 years ago. And when I tell you the shit in there, he said he didn't change. All the furniture, and it looked like it, the furniture, a lot of the picture frames, 40 years ago. And he sat there, and he gave me the whole history. You know, the deal was done. Like, I could have been like the New Yorker in me and just be like, peace, homie. Gotten the hell out of there. But I stayed. I listened to Joe's history. Talked about his wife, marriage, being at the place, how he actually got the property, and all that kind of stuff. But in the back of my head, I was thinking, if I leave here and he dies, he's going to haunt me just to tell me that story. That's the way I felt. I could feel it. Like he had to tell me this. He had to get it off his chest. Like no one was going in there to talk to him. But I did. The beacon of light, known as Miami Moonraker. Welcome to the episode. We have a crazy topic today. And it's something I didn't even think about, right? Because you're in a quarantine. It's COVID-19, wall to wall. You've probably examined your home so many fucking different ways. You've noticed shit that's probably been broken for years. And you're like, oh, take a look at that. And your spouse or whatever is getting together this honey-do list that just keeps growing. Well, now you got some time. Or somebody does, because shit, ain't nobody going to school. Half the people aren't even fucking going to work. There's other shit to be done. That's the truth. But what happens when you are sharing your COVID-19 experience with the ghost? Like, I never thought of this. It never crossed my mind, not once, that there are people out there who are sitting in their homes, and maybe for the first time, for the first damn time, they're sitting there, they're on the shitter, they're watching TV, and all of a sudden, shit starts moving. And I'm not talking like bowel movements, I'm saying like stuff, you know, papers flying, or shit falls off the shelf, and they're just sitting there. Or standing, laying, whatever. And then you realize, uh-oh, time to sell the house. Time to get out of this apartment. It's time to go. those are the stories for today, and there's a lot of those in the news. Not well, actually, one of them is from the New York Times. I was going to say not from any primary deals, any primary news outlets, but yeah, one of them is actually from the New York Times. Believe it or not, because apparently it is a common occurrence, and actually one of them is from the UK. Now, you'll have to bear with me because for some reason, when you read the English from the UK, it doesn't fucking read like English. It reads like something else. Like it's difficult. Like when I read the Queen's English, I feel like my grade scale should be at like PhD, but it's fucking in English. I don't understand what the hell's going on. Maybe it's just me. I just don't get it. It's so complicated. Anyway, there is another treat. So what we're going to do today, thanks to GameVet, because he gave me a shout out and say, hey, Mikey. Mikey eats everything. I'm talking about myself now. Manny. He says, hey, didn't you get that spirit box? Weren't you going to do something with it? I was like, yeah. Actually, I was. I was going to do something with it. I was going to go to some haunted-ass place out here in San Antonio, and I was going to turn this bitch on. And I was going to listen to the people on the other side. And they were going to talk to me and say pretty things. You know, like you'll be rich one day. You'll have a nice Lambo. You know, the good stuff. They wouldn't say hateful shit, because then I'd turn it off and walk away. But I got the spirit box here. So what I'm going to do is after every story, we're going to go to the live chat box and we're going to see if anyone's posted a question that I can ask. But I will tell you this. I feel like I've got ADHD or what's the other one? I don't know. I can't. Attention deficit disorder. Whenever I put this thing on, I can't keep up with it. It is the weirdest thing. Like I get lost. Like I turned it on a few minutes ago, and in my head, I kept on hearing "We Are the World," you know, and I could see Michael up there, and I could, what's the other dude? You know, one of them other people that passed away. I don't know. You pick your choice. Go to YouTube, pull up the video, and pull out the dead ones. I probably saw them in my head. But this thing is really complicated to keep up with, and I'm going to just turn it on right now before we get into our first story, just so you know. By the way, it's kind of fancy. It announces itself. I'll tell you that much. But anyway, what I was trying to say is, basically, I'll probably have to replay this damn episode like 4 or 5 times just to figure out what the fuck this thing said and if it even answered any questions. Because I don't think it's going to happen. So let's see. Let's just turn this on. It's on right now.
Xbox. Scanning FM.
And then we'll stop it there. We're not going to scan FM. Hold on a second. Here's the reason why.
AM.
Right, thank you. The reason why we're not going to scan FM, because it feels like every damn spirit in the entire other side is trying to get in on FM. Like you literally do not get any space in between. Like the static, you do not hear that shit in FM. It's constantly going. It's like people are fighting for the mic on the other side on FM, and I can't deal with that. There's a podcast. I don't got time for all that shit. But this is what we're going to do. Now, I'm going to go ahead and scan. This thing is loud as hell. Hold on a second. The podcast life. This is what it's like. See? Whoa. Did you hear that? Who is your daddy and what does he do? Yeah, crickets. That's the story of my life. We're going to get to this first song. And like I said, after every news article, we're going to put this on and look for some damn answers from the other side. And hopefully we get some good stuff, because this could be scary as shit for me.
Got me feeling like a drop in the sand. be reborn. I'm a monster, spreading hate, stealing time. I'm a monster, laying beds when it's cloudy. Oh, pilgrim inside of me, tell me what's my remedy. I'm a fraud, call me a liar, a true psychopath. Don't love me. When you're lost, take your trust. Yeah, that's me. Like an onion, I'll liberate your tears, your sweet passion, sweet fears. Oh, you're in good hands. They say I'm gentle, so don't be scared. I'm a monster. Every turn has its thrill. My game, my will. Pilgrim, don't let me, okay? No, I wanna be given the blame. Hold up, wait a minute, what you're talking about? Hold up, wait a minute, what you're talking about? Wanna be given the blame. I'm a fraud. 'Cause I'm a true psychopath. When you're lost, take your trust. That's me. That's so sick. I'm a fraud, call me a liar, a true psycho. Woo! I'm a fraud, call me a liar, a true psychopath. Don't love me. When you're lost, take your trust. Yeah, that's me. Oh, that's me, that's me, that's me. Yes, I'm a fraud. Call me a liar, a true psychopath. True
All right, I hope you guys are ready for the first story. This one comes out of Florida, a town known as YBOR City, the historic town of YBOR City, which is part of Tampa. It's actually just east of Tampa. And this is weird for me because I actually live not too far from there. If you're from Tampa or Florida, you know YBOR. It's kind of like for you guys in Texas, it's like Galveston. Huge history of pirates going in there and shitting on everyone, you know, and doing crazy stuff. YBOR had that history back in the day. Now you go down there and they have a parade night and day for you guys who, you know, like to lift the shirts. You only do that at night, okay? And they gave out the beads, and then it got it's a big Cuban population there too. A lot of Cubans there, a lot of Cuban immigrants. And so in YBOR, you have a lot of cigar shops as well. It's a good place to visit. Lots of nice restaurants, you know, all that good stuff. But it has a history, kind of like Galveston. It has this history of a lot of bad shit going back in the day, way back in the day when there were pirates around. YBOR City apparently is no stranger to having a ghost present in your home during COVID-19. According to Kurt Schleicher, you know I just butchered that because we're not going to say that last name again. No, not again. We're going to go with just Kurt. Kurt apparently lives in a home, And here's the thing. I'm going to just throw this out there because Kurt knew beforehand some shit had gone down. In this home that he purchased, ladies and gentlemen, if you're buying a house, and I think it's like 3 years, 5 years or something like that, where they have to disclose to you that somebody got shot or somebody died or, the whole family committed like a murder-suicide thing. I don't know. But that somebody died there, right? But Kurt actually purchased a house knowing that stuff went down. That there wasn't a happy ending. Not at all. And that happened to the family prior. It turns out the family that lived there was murdered. Not one or two. The family was murdered. But, Kurt liked the place. He said, hey, I'm going to buy it. I mean, why not? Victor Licata. He murdered his siblings, parents, and the family dog. The dog got it too. Pretty sad situation, right? Kind of dark, of course. It's a dark Horde. That's what we talk about. Kurt said this, I guess you could say, I'm getting to know my roommates. He had this interview with the New York Post. He said they left this earth in a stressful way. They were murdered while they slept. And their time was cut short. I understand where they're coming from. There is no way Kurt understands a damn thing about that. I don't even understand. That stuff is crazy. That's the kind of stuff that you associate with like the Amityville Horror or something like that. No, Kurt. No. Apparently Kurt, while he lived there, he really didn't have too many experiences. Not too much at all. He says that it wasn't until the COVID-19 quarantine where he was sitting there for hours at a time that he finally started to feel supernatural presence in the home. He says that at first he didn't think it was haunted. But he feels that he's being reminded of something really unpleasant. The murder of the entire family. He says, you notice all of these weird things when you normally wouldn't. And the worst part is, when you're sitting around, there's so much more time to think about it. And then you start thinking about how scary they are. And the fact that you purchased a home where a family died. One of the things that's happening to Kurt is that he also has a family dog. He's a boxer. The boxer, he's been sitting in the bedroom where the mother was murdered. And he barks at the wall for no apparent reason. He also has been experiencing areas of cold within the house. As he walks through it, there'll be like just pockets of cold air. He says especially in the bathroom when he goes in there. But remember, he might be naked, I don't know. And in Florida, you gotta have the damn AC on all the damn time. It's a fucking human. But anyway, there's pockets of air. They're just cold out of nowhere. And he feels things brushing against him when he's walking through. Kurt is not moving, but he sure as hell is hoping COVID-19 is over. It is absolutely bananas that you will buy a place and knowing that that went down. I couldn't imagine. I've heard stories of people living in places where there's been gunshots and the bullets have left marks and there's blood, and no matter how many times they paint these areas in the home or the house, those marks still come back through the paint. If I was Kurt, I'd move the hell up out of there. I'd get me a condo. Move down to Miami. Forget about all this. It's not worth it. And then how do you go back? I mean, if Kurt was so busy before that he would not feel any spirits in the house, and now that he's been lit up by this family, what does he do now? I would think it's time for him to leave. Time to get out. Because once you open that door to the other side, it's pretty difficult to close. Like we're about to do with the spirit box. There's more to Kurt's story, and yeah, he's still going to stay there. He's not leaving. It's his home. More power to him. Good luck. I'd be packing the fuck up. I mean, I'd move. I'm done. I'd sell it. I wouldn't even tell the people who are buying it. Because, alright, it's already passed. It didn't die recently, so I'd be like, hey, shit, there's nothing wrong with the house. Shut up. It's a beautiful house. Don't let your dog stare at this bedroom wall because it'll start barking for some strange reason. As a matter of fact, I kicked the dog out too. Screw that. Stop fucking around with me. I'm looking at the live chat box right now. We got Green Man, Game Vet, Pucky, Adam Bomb. We have Mr. and Mrs. Dre. They're in there as well. Let's see who else we got. I know I saw another name pop up here. Gutter, or Gutter, if you're nasty. Game Vet. Probably said that like a million times already. And I saw one more in here. Chuck Bam has arrived. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Now, they did say in the live chat box that they have problems hearing this device. Let me just kick it up because I've had the spirits holding forever. It's like when you call India. Sounds pretty clear. Feel like I'm in a damn helicopter. Alright, so I had a question that came from the Game Vet. Apparently something moved, or was moved, in his basement, I think. Like a bag or something. So Game Vet wants to know who moved the bag. Do you have a name? It must be like a holiday on the other side too. Like all the spirits have taken a break today. Maybe we'll go to FM. Hold on a second.
Line in.
Shut your mouth.
Bluetooth.
Whatever.
Scanning. FM.
There we go. Hold on. We're going to find out. Holy mother of God. Game Vet, we're going to find out what's going on. Hold on a second. Who's screwing with Game Vet? Fatness. Did I say fatness? I don't know. We'll have to replay that. We'll go on to the next song because, oh shit. We're getting spirit Tourette's. I can't do this.
Rivers run dry, dust breaths in the air. 2 dark days, do you have a tear to spare? Make a promise, the world awaits. It's heavy just breathing through this debate. Come on, start a riot. When they love you too much, know it's fake, or even hate. Don't be scared if the weight paralyzes your state at the gate. No, it's a lot to take in. It's designed to know when, don't wait. Don't be scared when the weight paralyzes your state at the gate.
Bugs just stood up from a dead sleep and is staring at the wall. Now I'm fucked too. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, time for story number 2. I don't know what's wrong with that spirit box. I guess I should have read the instructions right. I didn't read the instructions, no. But, I mean, how hard can it be to get a spirit to come through? Maybe I just don't have the gift, as they say. By the way, talking about the gift, on the 13th, not Eric. I keep fucking calling him Eric, but he probably knows that already. Chris Garcia, the psychic, will be coming back on the 13th of June, Saturday, live on a Dark Horde. And I'm trying to set up so I can have multiple call-in lines, and so you guys can get slap happy trying to find out your future. I don't know. I'm not a fan of finding out the future, to be honest. I'd rather him tell me about, other shit. Like some of you guys are interested in. Like Dre, he wants to know about the Cowboys. Well, you don't need a psychic for that, Dre. You really don't. Just look at the last few years, and you know. Anyway, there is an article. This one came out of the UK, basically. And apparently there is a family out in the UK who is also having this COVID-19 situation. Now, it is important to note that these folks out in the UK were experiencing these apparitions even before COVID-19. But because they're chilling at home, working remote, as many people are, sitting around pretending you're working, what's happening is it's kind It's getting crazy now. They're seeing the spirit a lot more. This is the home of Becky Melvin, and she's out in one of the shires. You guys in the UK are going to kill me, I know. Don't send me no hate email, okay? It's not my fault. I didn't freaking put the naming convention out there in the UK, goddammit. It is what it is. By the way, here's a weird thing. They give no fucks about telling this lady's age. She's 40 years old, in case you guys wanted to know. I don't even know what that has to do with anything. So what? She's in her 40s. Maybe because she looks like she's 50, probably. I don't know. So apparently, she lives there with her husband and 10-year-old son. And one night during the COVID times, everyone was asleep. They were at home. They were chilling. It's night time, right? They're all asleep, and she feels there's something in the home. The home is dark. And this is the UK. I mean, come on. That place is scary as shit. Everybody's on lockdown. Neighborhood's on lockdown. They got their place down. People are asleep. And then all of a sudden, one of the doors in the hallway starts shaking violently. You can hear the rattling in her room. And of course that scares her. So she goes out and she sees a dark figure standing in the hallway. This dark figure apparently has been around this home for some time. Even before the son was born, over 10 years ago. Now, they only saw the spirit sporadically, here and there. They'd see it in darkness. They've come to know the spirit as the top hat man, because he wears a top hat. Tall, slender, dark figure walking the halls of the home. There's a quote here from Becky. It says, "We call our ghost the Top Hat Man, and he's shared our homes ever since we moved in about 10 years ago," Becky says. She's also an event planner and runs Becky Melvin's weddings, so don't hire her. She's haunted. She says he's a tall man. He's wearing a top hat, and we don't have an idea why, because the property, prior to them purchasing it, was a farm. The farm had a cottage. And so they're kind of perplexed as to why there is such a well-dressed man in a cottage home that was on a farm. But they're assuming that it wasn't one of the employees, that possibly it was the landowner who continues to visit him. Thanks, Bugs, for sharing your snoring. The weirdest thing is that, according to them, they never really told their son about the man with the top hat. But he was one of the first to spot it when he was really young. His name is Cameron, and they call him Cam. Cam would sit and stare sometimes, pointing and jabbering at different parts of the house. Sometimes at this hallway that would lead down the kitchen and downstairs to the loo, aka the toilets, the porcelain throne. The weird thing is that once little Cam's speech improved, he actually started describing him as the tall man with the big hat. Again, ladies and gentlemen, I would move the hell out. I don't understand. Why do these people want to stay in these places? It's just weird to me. It's time to go. Sell it. Come on. You don't need a farm cottage in 2020. You're not a fucking farmer. Get out. Now, there at times they had this feeling that maybe like her and the husband would talk about it, and maybe that's why little Cammy pulled it up. Maybe that's why he got it in his head that, mom and dad were talking about this dark figure, and so maybe he picked it up through conversation. It turns out that other children would come over to the house to play with Cam. They also started seeing the man with the top hat. And they explained him as being like a shadow walking through the hallways wearing a hat. These are the kids that are saying this, that visit. And they say that he appears, and in an instant, he's gone. And what the family is reporting is that there isn't anything malicious about this spirit, but it's always there. And they've come to experience him more and more during the COVID-19 quarantines, stay-at-home orders. These are some stories that continue to be reported during COVID-19. And it could be that people are sitting around and they're more cognizant of their surroundings. They're not rushing through. They're not trying to pick up kids from school. They're not rushing to go to the grocery store, come in, go out. And then they're like, at the end of the day, they just drop dead themselves because they're damn tired. So now they see things. Now they notice things. It is completely crazy and bananas. And I could not imagine being someplace where I feel this all the time. It would be crazy. The house that we're in now, there is it's 2 floors. There is a staircase, but it has a landing. So go halfway, landing, turn around, go down the other side. And when I promise you that I always feel like there's someone looking over the staircase when I'm downstairs, and I always see a dark figure leaning over the railing and just staring. It is such a freaky feeling that someone from the other side could be watching you. It is nuts. Now, I was hoping that lazy fucker would show up on this damn spirit box, but apparently not. He ain't got shit to say. He's just a peeping Tom, apparently. That's all I'm saying. Now, the guys have heard me, especially on UFO Buster Radio, where shit just happens. Doors slam shut. Computer screens just turn on behind me. All kind of stuff. Just out of the blue. During the podcast. So it is just crazy. I just said Bugs did his own thing. So we're going to pull this up one more time. Let me look at the live box thingy chat box here. By the way, if you got a question, let's get it on there. But Green Man says those baby monitors are a portal to hell. Now here's something interesting, that this particular spirit box has a Faraday pocket, which, I don't know, it's supposed to limit like interference and crap like that, like EMF. But apparently it's too good, because we ain't getting shit from these people. Let's go down through here. It says Adam Bomb says you need like 3 AM channels in there's only 3 AM channels in San Antonio. Well, shit. Well, there you go. Let's see. Goof on Radio. Thanks for not giving a shout out. All right, Rich. I'm not sure what that means, but we could ask the spirits about that. Let's see what that says. Let's see who else we got here down the road. One Nobody. The jerks. The jerks are on. And there was somebody, another bird kind of person on here, but who knows. All right, let's try this out one more time, and let's see what happens. By the way, Chuck Bam says Hatman is a rubber ticker. He sure is. No kidding. All right, let's turn this on. But there's no questions. God damn it. Guys, you are not being game players here. But by the way, apparently Mrs. Dre doesn't think the box sounds good. That's because you got to be dead for it to work well. Thank you. Oh, anybody got any questions? That's all I got to know before we go on to the next song. because I'm tired of this already. Who's going to be the next president of the United States? Here's a question from Adam Baum. Will Tom DeLonge ever go back to Blink 182? To hell with this box. I just threw it. I gave up. That's it. I've had it. I guess the spirit talking thing is not for me. Or this place really isn't haunted. I'm just seeing things like an old senile bastard. Apparently, the message is that the spirit box sucks. Well, you gotta have spirits, okay? If no one fucking shows up to the party, it's not a party. That's the way it goes. So, yeah, 1 and 2, basically, we need both things to happen. So, no spirits here, I guess. But we're gonna take this box, I'm sure, during the summer out to some of the nastiest, most haunted places we could possibly find, and then we'll see what happens. But at the present time, I mean, that's the way it is. It's not working. The final story for today comes out of Los Angeles, California. Adrienne Gomez, and this story is being told by Molly Fitzpatrick, whoever the fuck she is a quarantining with a ghost and it's scary. Adrian Gomez lives out with his partner in LA, and apparently the first few days of sheltering at home, it was like every other day, right? They were making cookies together, fixing up each other's toes, stuff like that. The kind of things that partners do. That kind of stuff. That's what they did. Gave each other some manicures. And so everything was great, uneventful, nothing going down. They actually work remotely, and so they will do their thing, go on 2-mile walks, at sunset, stuff like that. It's sickening, I know. But it didn't stay that way for a very long time. There was one night where the doorknob was shaking vigorously and so loud that they heard it from one end of the apartment to the other. They got up to check, nothing was there. Now I know you're thinking, you got bratty ass kids, or there's bratty ass kids in the neighborhood, they do that kind of shit, they run around fucking with people's doors. But apparently that wasn't it. After that, in mid-April, Mr. Gomez reports that he was in bed, because what else do you do during the COVIDs, right? You lay around like lazy as hell. There is a window that was near his bed, and the shade began to shake. You figure shit happens, right? That's nothing new. Stuff like that happens. The problem is that the shade next to it was not. Completely still. Nothing else was moving except for that one shade. He got up to check. The window was closed. He even took it a step further. Apparently they have a bunch of cats. None of the cats were present in the room at the time. All accounted for. There was nothing. Not a single creature was roaming. But that shade was going to town. In the middle of the night, no less. He thought maybe there was an earthquake. While he was half asleep, of course, he checked the next day. There was nothing. Nothing happened in the area. There's a quote from him here that says, "I very seriously hid myself under the comforter like you see in the movies because it really did freak me out." Who wouldn't be? He goes on to say, "I'm a fairly rational person, and Mr. Gomez, he's a 26-year-old IT support guy." I probably should have had an accent doing this. I try to think. I try to be reasonable. Tangible things shouldn't be doing this shit. Yeah. Then he goes on to say, I was trying to figure it out. What could be doing this? What? Let me just think about this. What could have happened? But he couldn't answer it. He couldn't answer it, and he hasn't been able to make any kind of a good guess or reasonably prove that something else was happening or is still happening because he continues to have incidents. Then he says, maybe something else is going on. Maybe he's not alone. In many ways, maybe he has folks from the other side visiting him. In this story, he has no idea if something happened in the apartment before, but what he does know is that he's having a lot of paranormal activity while he's in quarantine, staying at home. Which I can't even call it fucking quarantine. It's not quarantine, it's just stay at home. He's staying at home and somebody's fucking with him from the other side. No explanations. There is, in this particular article, there's several stories about people who are reporting the same crazy activity regarding these ghosts. But it's a funny thing that a lot of these people did not feel these things. They didn't have any inclinations of a presence, anything like that, until they got stuck with the whole COVID-19 situation. Completely crazy. I recommend then don't buy a spirit box because that shit doesn't fucking work. It's all fake. It really is. I've just about had it. I'm done with it. Completely nuts. Apparently, there's a bit of a back and forth here going on in the chat box. Hey guys, listen. Trolls are going to be trolls. You can't just ignore them. That's what I do. Completely. These guys, they got nothing better to do. But I do have some news. Besides Chris coming in on the 13th, we also have a producer, director of documentaries who will be on. It's either going to be UFO Buster Radio or this podcast. I'm not really sure yet because he does documentaries on aliens and UFOs, and he also does stories on cryptids, which will be fascinating to have on the Dark Horde. I was watching one of them on Bigfoot last night. He's pretty good. He's not like Jeremy Corbell that walks forever through the sand dunes the first 15 minutes of his documentary. This guy is more straight to the point. So spirit boxes are gone. I'm not even going to pull this damn thing out anymore. I've just about had it with it. Listen, I thank you guys for listening. I appreciate every single one of you, even the ones that got the hateration for the spirit box. Come on. We'll try it again some other time. We'll see if we can find some places haunted. But I thank you guys for listening. I'm checking out. I'll see you for UFO Buster Radio, and have a safe weekend. Ciao.